Man or boy tonight? Man? Do it, do it, do it. Ready? Yeah. You know when it's third and long or down towards the end zone, they're going to throw that comeback. Play it. There's nowhere in the entire world I would rather be right now than standing here with you. You are my family. You are my family. From this day forth, whatever life brings at you, you have a family in the Cleveland Storm. Believe that. Believe the guy next to you is your brother. Believe you have a family here. Believe that we love you. Okay? Play for one another. Have passion and play with tremendous effort. You will make a mistake, but make it full speed. Okay? You're going to do more good things than bad tonight. Get after them. Above all, love each other. Play hard for one another. And at the end of 48 minutes, we'll do what we do. Boys, it's time to hit somebody in the mouth. And when Brian Urlacher asks you to hit somebody in the mouth, you better answer the bell. Let's go.
The 2014 season for the Storm football team ended abruptly. Favored to go deep in the playoffs, their hopes of a state championship were shattered. A 42-28 loss to visiting Cibola in the first round.
As a coach, as a competitor, you know, it really lit a fire under me. It was a really hard pill for me to swallow. But little did I know at the time, it was just as difficult for our players, for our returning guys.
That loss against Cibola was probably the toughest thing we went through. I think it was kind of the turnaround for this program. It was like a kind of kicked ourselves in the butt almost, you know, to get us going.
Coach Radnauer, since the first day of summer workouts, would tell us 42-28, 42-28, and remember how that felt. And even before the state championship, I mean, he was telling us, remember how 42-28 felt, because that was a game for us that we didn't perform to how we could perform to our best ability, and we kind of had a letdown. And he just wanted to remind us that we can't have another letdown, to have that same feeling creep in, because that was a terrible feeling to go out like that. I mean, I think we were number 5 seed, losing to 12 seed. I mean, we felt like we were the joke of the state. So we just didn't want to have that feeling again.
You know, we went to work right after Thanksgiving. We gave them Thanksgiving week off, and then we came right back in the weight room and we closed the doors, as we said. We shut the doors. We went to work. We didn't have team meetings. We didn't talk about a loss. We just decided, you know, it's time to go to work. It's time to get better. We let an opportunity slip through our fingers. So we went to work in the spring. We lifted hard. We pushed our weight goals, and we developed the physically strongest team Cleveland's ever had. And little did we know at the time, we were also developing the most mentally tough team that we've ever had, because this group was not going to be denied.
The main difference was our senior leadership from last year to this year. I think that our juniors from this year really stepped up and realized that if we were going to have success, that we'd really have to step up and take leadership of the younger guys and kind of take it by the reins and just do it ourselves. And I think we all embraced that. I mean, Gabe Ortega, Landry Hayes, Marcus Williams, Dimitri Rodriguez, Jordan Garcia, all the captains, they all just took it upon themselves to make the team better, and that's what we did.
This group of seniors got together, and we definitely said that we wanted to win us the state championship, and it didn't matter what we had to do to get it. But our first goal that we set out was to beat Monzano. You always have to win your first game. Then the next goal that we had was to win district. We play in a tough district every year. A lot of great teams in our district, and then our next goal was to win state. And we just had to take those steps one game at a time, and we had to put in a lot of work, but we definitely had some high expectations.
I think we started rolling the very first game because everybody's excited and we all wanted to hit somebody else. We got tired of hitting each other.
We just wanted to prove that we're trying to send a message throughout the season, and you always want to win your first game. I mean, you never want to start 0-1, so we wanted to come out and prove that we're firing on all cylinders from the get-go, and to show teams around the state that we're ready to play.
The Storm honored their opponent's tragic loss of a teammate before the game.
We did that moment of silence and that act of sign of respect for the family. You know, they kicked off to us, we caught it, we went and kneeled it on the 20-yard line. And just to give Manzano and that team and those parents an opportunity to grieve for a minute in public, you know, and do those things, and gave them their moment. And as soon as we were done with that, Landry Hayes looked at me and looked at his teammates, and he was kind of bouncing around the huddle like he does. And he goes, "This is strictly business. This is strictly business from here on out." You know, and you know, usually as a coach, you motivate players. But what Landry said that day motivated me more than I've ever been motivated in my life. And it was strictly business for these guys. When they got on the field, they went to work.
It's hard to say that from week one, you have everything down, but that was really when we realized what we could do, and if we prepared the way we did every week, like we did in week one, then we could have the success we did. We were just tired of practicing, and it was our first opportunity to play a game, and the result, what it was, we ended it at halftime, and we just enjoyed that feeling so much that we said, if we just prepare like that every week, then we'll have the same result, and that's kind of what we did.
Everything just clicked, it seemed like, as a team for the first game. Coach wasn't expecting it, and it was just over at half, you know, 50 pointed them, and it was crazy. We were just, I mean, of course we weren't satisfied, but it was just a good first game.
The boys did hit a stride in the first game, and we came out really hot. And as a coach, you know, we never talked about going 13-0. We talked about getting better every week. Be better this week than you were last week. And when you start out like that against a team that was that talented, you know, golly, are we going to be able to get better each and every week? But those boys were right there. They hit their stride in week one, and they continued to get better every single week. So we went to Del Valle knowing we had to travel south on I-25 to win a big game if we want to win the state championship, implying you got to go through Las Cruces. You're going to have to beat Las Cruces or Mayfield or one of those schools to win a state championship. And let's see if this is strictly business. Is this really who we are? This is a great test for us, because Del Valle beat us last year. They were the most physical team we played in 2014. And our kids, you could feel a little bit of nervousness to them because they knew how physical Del Valle was, but you could also sense the excitement because they wanted the opportunity to prove to people that they were good. They were tired of people telling them they were good. They wanted to prove they were good.
Del Valle began the game returning a kickoff for a touchdown and continued to test the Storm's offense and defense throughout the game.
And we went down to El Paso, and they were physical. They punched us in the mouth, and that was one of the closest games we played of the entire season, you know. And ended up coming away with a 52-36 win down there. Ended up winning by 16 points, and I think special teams played a huge factor in what we did there. You know, we tried to spice up the special teams game by, you know, shifting and going for some two-point conversions, and blocking some punts, and really being dynamic in special teams. And we were able to steal some possessions in the El Paso Del Valle game from a special team standpoint that really motivated us to help us win that game. And so that was really a notch for us. You know, we went up a notch as a team to go down there and beat that crew.
I think after the Del Valle game, we kind of figured out who we were and what we were capable of doing. That was a big test for us, the Del Valle game. That was a very nerve-wracking game for me.
Unlike their week one victory, Del Valle gave them their first challenge of the year. It was an experience that would come to help them later in the season.
We were able to go down I-25 and win a big football game. It was big for us. So then we come back to Oñate. We got Oñate at home. They run the triple option. If you're not sound, if you're not going to be strict with your dive, quarterback, pitch responsibilities, the triple option can really hurt you. And didn't know it at the time, but they were having big 6- and 7-foot splits in their offensive line, huge gaps, because they knew they couldn't block us, but they were just going to spread us out enough to run between us. And little do we know, they were spreading us out that much, and our kids were still taking care of their responsibility and had a huge win against a pretty good Oñate team. We traveled down to Clovis, which is, you know, a big game when you travel down to Clovis, New Mexico, play at Leon Williams. The kids are fired up for that opportunity. They know the history of Clovis High School. They know my history with Clovis High School. They know Coach Kilmer's history at Clovis High School. You know, we brought in Coach Sosa, who graduated from Clovis High School. So we have a Clovis connection. So we don't ever have to say it, but these kids are just motivated. They're excited for that football game, excited for the opportunity to go down to Clovis. So we get down to the goal line, and anytime we get down there and we feel like we're pacing people. We're getting them tired. They're not lined up properly. You know, we're going to be pacing when we get down to the goal line, and we catch Marcus in a good situation in a matchup we feel like we can win. And we got into, we call the formation single left. It singles Marcus out on the left side, and we were just going to throw a fade. 60 fade is the name of the play. And called the play, and right when I saw it, I knew we were in trouble because they were cheating their safety, Tucker Dobbs, over the top. They were trying to double Marcus on the goal line, knowing we like to throw fades. And Gabe did a good job of keeping it away from the safety. Threw it nice and high, threw it back shoulder to keep it away from the safety. And right when he threw it, I was like, third down. You know, he threw it out of bounds. And Marcus jumps up and snags that thing with one hand and comes up standing with it. And I just covered my mouth. And it's just like, oh my gosh, that was the most unbelievable catch I've ever seen in high school.
It's so much fun to play with guys like Gabe and Marcus and Landry who have so much talent, but especially Marcus. I know blocking on the offensive line, if you do a good block and you know that you give Gabe time to throw a ball, that almost every time Marcus is going to make a big play and catch it. I can still remember that play in Clovis where I think they brought like 7 guys off the defensive line and we picked all of them up. It was this great blocking assignment, and he throws that ball up and Marcus makes that one-handed catch, and it was just awesome to see.
The referee was coming back down the sideline, and he looked at Coach Kilmer and he goes, "I've never seen a high school player make a catch like that before. That was unbelievable." Coach Kilmer looks at me and he says, "I haven't either, except for every day in practice," because that's who Marcus Williams is.
In the summer, I mean, we'd stay after practice every day and throw routes, and Marcus knows that that's his play. I mean, jump ball in the end zone, he's going to get it no matter what. So the one down in Clovis, I overthrew him a little bit, and he went and just made a heck of a play.
To go down there and beat a really good Clovis team, this is one of the best teams they've had in the 6 years that I've been here at Cleveland. To go down there and beat them 50-20 at Leon Williams Stadium, man, that's a feather in the cap right there. That's one of those things that you don't forget for a long time. So we come home and we got Sandia at their place, and Sandia's got a record, a reputation of kind of punching us in the mouth, being more physical than us. Having to go there on a Friday night after the big emotional Clovis game kind of had us wondering, are we going to get better? You know, and we went there, and wind was blowing about 40 miles an hour directly across the field. It affected the kicking game, it affected the passing game. So in that instance, we had to start relying on our running attack. You know, we had to get behind their big offensive line and let them push people. You know, and we were just able to do that. You know, we were up 35-7 late in the game, and then Cody Tavella intercepts a pass and returns it for a touchdown, which turned out to be the only defensive touchdown we scored all season long, which is kind of amazing when you kind of have the kind of people we do on the defensive side of the ball to only have one defensive touchdown. But that was our lone defensive touchdown.
We hadn't prepared for a true unbalanced formation since the first week of the year. And defensive coaches are always a little paranoid and anal. And so you start, at the first of the year, you start putting stuff in there that you haven't seen them run, but what if they did run it? Sandia, at one point, we were kind of kicking them pretty good there, and they came out trying to do something different and went to an unbalanced, where they had 4 people on one side of the center, and I see it immediately that they're unbalanced, again, being paranoid such that defensive coaches are. And I don't even have to say a word. Our kids, our linebackers, get them in slide 50 immediately, and they run it 2 times in a row. We slide both times, we stuff them because we're lined up correctly. We did our job once again, and they never go back to it. That's one of the best feelings as a defensive coach that you can have, being something that you taught, which was actually 6 weeks before that. And they're smart enough to remember, retain that, and perform it on the grass under a crucial situation. So that's quite a great feeling.
So we go into the El Dorado game 5-0, feeling like we've had some real quality wins, you know, against really good opponents. We don't have a fluff schedule. We're playing tough people, and we're winning in a really dynamic manner. and to go into this game and people are kind of starting to compare scores and the amount of points that they've scored versus the amount of points we've scored, the amount of points we've given up versus the amount of points they've given up, and our defense starts taking some hits. Cleveland can't stop anybody. Cleveland, they can score, but they can't stop anybody. And this game could go either way, and maybe El Dorado's the favorite. We're both undefeated coming into the game, and it happened to be homecoming for us, which is really a coach's worst nightmare because the kids are distracted. They're involved in school activities, which it's a high school atmosphere. They need to do those things, but it really distracts them.
It was just another game for us. It wasn't about whether it was homecoming or not. It was just another game for us, and we stayed focused and had a really good week of practice.
Everybody just had that mentality just to block everything out that was going on in the school over there, and just we were preparing hard for them because we knew that it was going to be a tough game for us.
I think that kind of was a factor in why we started a little slow, as we got the hype of the game and the homecoming and the aspect to it.
That El Dorado game for me really proved that our team can overcome any adversity that hit us. I mean, we fumbled on the first play of the game, gave them a short field, they scored. Stumbled on offense again, punt, they have a short field again, they score right away. We're down 14-0 in the hole to, the second best team in the state that we saw.
A big part of our senior leadership, they took it upon themselves to not let anything get to us, and that we could do whatever we wanted, no matter if we're down or if we're ahead.
We wanted to show everybody how good we really were, and we didn't care who was in our way. We were just going to go out there and play the game we know how to play.
I think that the Del Valle game was the first punch in the mouth we actually got when they ran that kickoff back. It was the first time somebody actually came out and scored and took the lead on us, and we kind of realized that we wouldn't be able to just dominate if we came out and just stepped on the field. We actually had to go out and earn it. So I think that game was really influential on how we came back in the El Dorado game.
We had to return with a bigger hammer. We had to return with a bigger swing, and we did that throughout the whole second half.
We just didn't hang our heads, we didn't panic, we didn't yell at each other, we didn't do any of that. I mean, we stuck together and we got through it and we ended up winning the game.
Defense was fast and physical, and we definitely had to just do what we did and try to be perfect as much as we could, because their defense was probably one of the best, or the best that played all year.
El Dorado came in with one of the state's top backfields with Noah Schweitzer and Elias Baker.
We really concentrate on tackling that game, our first game against El Dorado, and we just told ourselves we have to tackle these guys if we want to win this game, because he is a very good running back, and he will run on you if we don't tackle him.
We knew that we were the top dog because everybody said the winner of that game would be the top dog in the state. So we knew that everybody, whoever's on the top pedestal, everybody's going to try to come knock you off. So we knew that it didn't really mean anything. That we still had to work hard and continue to be on our grind.
We weren't satisfied with the win. We wanted to keep going. We had a good bye week, and we came back with Santa Fe, and we pretty much ran through our district, and we kept our momentum to the playoffs.
Well, I think that goes back to last year a lot when we lost to Cibola in the finals. That was a kind of a wake-up call that no matter how good we were, we had to go out and we had to play every single game as hard as we could if we wanted to win, because every team can win on any given night. And we just wanted to go out and just beat every team, so that's what we did.
I think we have 23 seniors. Just never let anybody not be focused on the task that we had that week, and it was just huge that our seniors just kept us going and pushing the younger guys just to get through it, because that's a tough stretch into district, and we just never let up.
And then we go play Volcano, who's just a dangerous team. Athletes everywhere. Really reminded us of Cibola last year. Got the potential to score a lot of points. We could be in a track meet. We could be in trouble if we're not prepared for this. And our kids knew that. They played them as freshmen. These seniors did, and we won 14-13. So there's a history here with these kids. And our kids came out and we talked to them before the game. What do you want to do? How do you want to approach this game? What statement do you want to make? And our offensive line raised their hand and said, we want to run the football. We want to get in too tight. We want to get in bone, and we want to run it down their throat, and we want to make a statement. There's this perception out there by the public that we're this run and gun, sling it team. We're going to throw it 40 times a game, but that's not at all who we are. We're a run-first offense. We're going to find ways to run the football, keep the clock moving. We're going to do it at a very fast pace to give our offense the advantage, to try to wear some people out and tire them. the more we keep pushing on them, the better success we're going to have late in the third and fourth quarters. So we've never in the history of Cleveland High School thrown for more yards than we've rushed for. We've always rushed for more yards. And my belief as a head coach is you have to be able to run the football to win a state championship. And if you can't run the football, you're very one-dimensional, and people can take that away. But by being two-dimensional and being able to stretch the field vertically, horizontally, it opens gaps to run the ball. And behind that big offensive line that we had, our plan in every game was to run the football. And we have run-pass options with every play. I might call a run, but there's always the option to pass it. In some games that was there for take it to pull it and throw it on the edge and let those guys do their thing. But other games, it wasn't there, and we're going to run the football. We're going to trust our offensive line and our rushing attack to do what we do. So that's what ended up happening in the Volcano game. We ran the ball to win. So we go to Cibola. This is the game that we wanted back. If you could go back in the past and really redo something, it would be the Cibola game in 2014 in the playoffs. But you can't go back. Our kids know that. And I told them, I'm going to continue to pour salt on this wound. And they kind of look at me and like, what are you talking about, Coach? And that wound we had, it's an open wound. When we got beat by Cibola, it hurt us. And instead of letting that thing heal and letting that scar develop, we're going to continue to pour salt on it and make that wound burn. We're going to make it hurt so we can remember it, so it'll remind us who we are. And once we get past this, I feel like we've learned our lesson, we'll let that wound heal. But right now, we need to dump that salt on it. We need to feel it big time. And we came out, and it was pouring rain. It was cold, wet, windy, rainy. Not great weather conditions, but both teams had to deal with it. So another game where we knew we got to run the football to win the game. And that's what we did. Had another big game. We scored our season low against them, 39 points. We won 39-6. But to do it in those conditions against a defense that was as good as their defense was, they had the district defensive player of the year in Jeremiah Bell. And to be able to do that against them on a wet, rainy, nasty night, 39-6, it was a good statement by our kids.
The Storm were now 9-0 in one game from being the outright District 1 6A champs. But to do this, they would have to beat crosstown rival Rio Rancho.
I don't think Rio Rancho respects us very much as we respect them, because they were here first and we were all going to go to Rio Rancho. So it's a big week for us to try to show them that we're not the little brother, that we're a school that's going to compete in everything that we do, no matter what the sport. So it's a huge week. I mean, we just want to beat those guys really bad, because we did grow up with all those guys and same school and same Yaffle team, some of us. So we just want to go and show that our hard work that we do at Cleveland's harder than what they do at Rio Rancho.
Playing with my friends, playing against my friends, just crosstown rivals, the kids that I grew up with playing. And it's always fun to beat your friends.
Listen up. Our goals have not changed. Our mission since August has not changed. We're the same team. We're a better team, okay? We're a more disciplined team, okay? We're a hungry team. Are we poor, hungry, and driven right now? Guess how many district championships you've had this year? 0. How many of you saw the picture I sent out today? Raise your hand. Okay, you're gonna hear this question. You want the red or you want the blue? What do you want?
That game against Rio, it's kind of like, there's two brothers and one's little and one's big, but sometimes the little brother wins.
Well, you go to middle school with all those guys and you kind of like have a friendship with all of them, but once high school comes around, then it starts getting kind of competitive towards the football game.
You got something special in one another. And I promise you're gonna look back on this and say, this brotherhood that we still have forever and ever and ever, but that I got to experience while I was in high school, was one of the most special things in the entire world, something you're gonna cherish. And all you're gonna hope that your teammates say about you was, that guy was a great teammate. He held the rope.
It's a big town rivalry. Everybody just looks forward to that game. There's, I don't know how many people, 7,500 people that go to that game, and just a really cool environment, really fun playing.
Really big game for us is a district championship, and we were really excited to go into their house and do what we had to do.
I want a list of 15 people up here fighting for the Rock Award. Understand that? So on an offensive standpoint, we're not going to sit back on our heels.
One of our big deals going into this season was to act poor, hungry, and driven. We want to be poor, hungry, and driven. And that means we have nothing. Because in 2014, we let people believe we had everything. But when the season ended, we realized we had nothing. You know, we just had people's opinions of us. And that's not what we wanted.
Prepared, you've done everything you needed to do. You shut the door, you lifted the weights, you became one team, okay? Go have fun tonight. That's the only thing you got to do. Have fun, play hard, play fast. The winning will take care of itself. Storm on 3, 1, 2, 3, let's go. We're here to win, we're here to do what we do. But in all reality, we're the Cleveland Storm. And we put up here, I don't know if that was up yet or what, we're up, wherever we put that PowerPoint during 2-a-days, we put a list of goals up. And one of those goals was to be the district champions, okay? And that was no individual group that made that goal. That was us as a team, okay? And I asked you, is there any goal on here you want to take off? Is there anything on here that's too high for you? The standard is too much. It's too much of a daily grind for you. Not one of you raised your hands. Every one of you wanted those goals and those to be your standards. And you've lived up to them all the way to now, which gives me confidence in the way you prepare. It's gone fast, hasn't it? It's gone real fast, okay? Every night after tonight, okay? Some people say you're living on borrowed time. We're living on earned time.
The kids talk anything about, hey, it's a chance to be 10-0 and we're going to wrap this up? No.
We haven't talked about being undefeated.
Of course, it's a big game anyway.
It's a rivalry. More so than that, it's a district championship. Yeah. You know, every day from here on out is earned time. 12 teams will earn the right to go on.
Brian Urlacher and I went to high school together, known each other. We're family. You know, that's kind of the way we consider each other. And he happened to be in town for a golf tournament. He's like, hey bro, you play tonight? Text me. I said, we do. We play in the district championship at Rio Rancho. He's like, sweet, I'll be there.
Talk to you all the time about playing with passion, playing with great effort, a great attitude. We talk about family, okay? We didn't tackle exactly the way I wanted us to tackle yesterday, okay? Talk about family. Great family friend. Gonna come in here, you're gonna watch you guys play a little football tonight. I hope you hit somebody, man. Do what you do.
Not much I can say to get you guys ready to play at this point. You should be ready to play. Before we went out every game as a linebacker group, we had a saying, what can you control in a football game? Anyone know? What's the one thing you can control on the football field? Effort. That's the only thing you control.
And every week, teams are gonna drop off, okay? You gotta earn the right to do it, okay? You wanna be a district champion, you gotta earn the right tonight. Nobody's gonna put that little tiara or whatever you want on your head. You gotta go take it.
I told our kids, you're playing on earned time at this point. You know, every minute from this point on, sometimes some people call it borrowed time, it's earned time. You're gonna earn every day from here on out, on the practice field, on the game field. And if you want this season to continue, you gotta be poor, hungry, and driven enough to earn the right to continue in these playoffs. You gotta be poor, hungry, and driven enough to go earn this district championship.
Let's go. Big 5 on 3. 1, 2, 3, big 5.
Miss it so we can return it. Here we go. Hey.
Ortega out of the pistol. Anderson goes in motion. Anderson gets the ball off right tackle. He's outside the numbers. Now to right sideline 40 to the 30. He's going to go all the way to the 20 to the 10. Touchdown, Cleveland Storm.
How you like me now, boys? Hurry up, Henry.
Our focus was being physical and finishing blocks, and so like they had a competition. Our goal every week to get so many knockdowns if they reached that goal, I'd cook them pancakes on game day, so they'd come in and they loved it. They'd come in and we'd make a bunch of pancakes for the offensive line. But I think they took pride in what they did. I think they embraced the O-line position and they loved being physical and they knew they were a big part of the team. And I think that was a big part of it, just building that pride in the position.
Still no pants, huh? Come back. Hold! 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 Do your job. Nothing more, nothing less. Great effort.
Takes the snap off the ground. He will flare it over the middle. He's got a man, and that is a catch by Anderson. He's in midfield, down the left sideline, 40 to the 30. He cuts inside to the 25 and down to the 15.
They're gonna die!
For a field goal here. Now they're going to switch it. They look like they were lining up, and now here's a keeper, Landry Hayes, on a direct snap, goes toward the end zone, touchdown! Landry Hayes, his first carry of the night, and it's a direct snap, and he ends up going in 6 yards for 6.
Good job! Good job! Wolf, get over.
Two receivers to the right. Montoya came in motion. He got the ball. He is absolutely level behind the line of scrimmage as they will mark him at the 47. Henry had it said, how do you do?
Go to read it. We're not going 4 anymore on that.
Hey, did you hear that?
It's a 5.
The coaches just told Dakota to slow down and read it, to get a pull read, okay? Be a little slower from the 5 technique spot. Make sure they give it.
Stay down the line.
We're very interactive, and they're the ones playing the game on the grass. They know what's happening. I'm standing over there watching it, and I have some experience defensively, but what they can tell you is way more valuable than what you can see.
That tackle, when they got it, it's empty. See where this quarterback draw? If he's trying to throw it, pat it down.
And Ortega completes a pass along the left side to Marcus Williams. He's along the sideline. He'll go to the 32.
From the start, the Storm dominated the Rams. Their offense now running on all cylinders with Gabe Ortega at the helm, and a combination of running backs and wide receivers that could be a defensive coordinator's worst nightmare made all the non-believers believe.
He should have a couple more. We'll be all right.
So what happened with Marcus Williams? Is that all right? Just kind of tweaked it?
Good to go.
Good to go. Cool. Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Okay, but we got to run the football more. Okay? We don't need to be upfield. We're not doing any good upfield. Counter! Counter!
Hit his ass!
third quarter came out and our offensive line was just moving, and we're just moving people out the way, and Sean was running through holes and making plays, and our defense was starting to settle down a little bit. So, I mean, at that point I knew that Rivalry couldn't hang with us.
By Ortega down the left sideline. He's got room at the 50, all the way to the 40. Look out, 30, 20, 10, 5, and just simply following the left sideline. Touchdown, Gabe Ortega. Touchdown, Cleveland.
What'd they do? What stunt did they do? You got no clue. You just saw green grass and pulled it. I sent the linebacker. Hey, my man, my man, my man. Do what you do. Do what you do. My man. Coach. Good job, Coach. Good job, Coach. Good job.
Of the still undefeated Cleveland Storm. Coach, congratulations on the 10-0 regular season. As at this point, what do you think of your team's performance and what can you do to improve as you go into state?
Very proud of our kids, what they've done so far. They've accomplished a portion of the goals that we set out to do. They've gotten better each and every week, and that's our goal from here on out is to get better each week and put the best products we can on the field.
Winning the district championship with this group of kids was just another notch in our belt. You know, it was one of our goals. We wanted to beat Manzano, and we did that. We wanted to come together as a team during 2 days, and we have definitely done that at this point. And another one was to win the district championship. This puts hardware in the cabinet. This is stuff you're going to remember forever. You know, this doesn't go away. People can't take away a championship from you. So this is a big game for us.
Hey, very proud of you. You accomplished one of the goals we set out to do. We never set out to go undefeated. That wasn't one of our goals. Our goal was to get better every single week. Our goal was to win a district championship. Our goal was to win our last football game, okay? You are on earned time now, okay? Earned time. If you want to keep the time, you must continue to earn the time. Guys, I'm far from over with you. I'm far from over, okay? You're far from over, all right? Keep pushing forward. Stay poor, hungry, and driven. Poor, hungry, and driven. We have a goal left. It's a team goal, okay? Continue to push on. Continue to do what you do, okay? I'm very, very, very proud of the effort tonight. Very proud of where we are. Hey, man, we put a 2015 up on that banner in that gym. How you like them apples?
So we start our 2-a-day campaign and find some bad news about Dimitri. He's got to have surgery, and that was a blow to us. You know, knowing there's a chance we weren't going to get him for the entire season.
It was a rough year. I tore my meniscus over the summer. Had surgery a couple days before school started. They thought it was going to be season ending.
You lose a player like that, it's obviously going to hurt, you know, and we felt it, and we had to find a guy to step up on the offensive side. We felt a little better. On defensive lines where we felt we were going to be in trouble. We were trying to scramble for a while.
But he didn't bat an eye. You know, he went in and had the surgery, and he was going to do his rehab, and he was determined to come back. So as a team, we went into it saying, you know, we got to give Dimitri a chance to play. We got to make this thing last as long as we can to give Dimitri an opportunity.
The coaches came over to my house right after surgery. They're like, well, you do what you want to do. If you want to come back and play, you got to rehab it, right? And then, so I worked with Jeff a lot. Jeff was a really good trainer. He helped me. Him and the doctor were really close. So I feel like that really helped me come back faster.
The brackets weren't laid out the way we thought they were going to be laid out, you know, but they really never are. You know, we got the #1 seed and El Dorado was the #2 seed. And really, that's all we cared about. We knew we were going to get a team in the first round after the bye, a team that we've already played. So we're kind of getting that story from 2014. You know, you're going to get Sandia or Manzano, two teams that you beat pretty handily the first time. Same thing you did in 2014. Are we a different team, or are we going to be the same team we were last year?
That first playoff week where we actually had a game against Manzano was a huge week. I mean, coaches kept saying 42-28. Remember what happened? It was the same scenario as last year. I mean, an underdog playing a higher seed that was expected to win by a lot, that we played early in the year, that we beat by a good margin of points. And it was just a huge week that we had to stay focused for, and because we knew that we had a tough stretch to get through. And but we just really stayed focused.
Of course, I wasn't in the greatest of shape, but I was just glad I was able to step on the field with my brothers.
We took every day in practice serious. We didn't take any plays off, so that really got us going, and we had a really good game against Manzano.
They were relentless against their first-round opponent, assuring that what happened last year was not going to happen again. Marcus Williams, known for his receiving skills on offense, helped shut down Manzano's offense by making huge interceptions on the Storm defense. Senior wide receiver Justice Jackson also had a huge night.
Manzano has these corners, they blitz, and I guess the linebackers come out and supposed to guard, and we have a stab play, and kind of just like, I sit there and just catch it and go, because nobody's on me to cover me, and try to get as many yards.
And I do have reads that I have to make, and they just left Justice open, and Justice gets himself open. And so we were just connecting on that drive, and he catches everything I throw his way.
We don't want to make the same mistake we did last year. We just want to go out and play our game. No one else could play with us if we played our game.
So we start watching the Mayfield-Clovis game or listening to it, kind of keeping up with updates from it throughout the game, and the final score is 21-3. A little bit of an intriguing score. Mayfield was hard to figure out because they lost to Manzano, they lost to Alamogordo, you know, they lost to El Dorado, you know, but then they come out and they beat Las Cruces High really bad. And we know Las Cruces High is a pretty talented football team, so they're hard to figure out. Who is this team?
Coach Ridenour told us back in week 2 when we played El Paso del Valle that we had to travel down I-25 in order to win a state championship.
It was going to be tough. Like, it's just Mayfield. Coach always talks about 2011, how they went down there, and it was just Mayfield pretty much always goes through Cruces to the state championship. So I was a little nervous. I mean, on the bus, you know, everyone, we were pretty prepared though. You could tell we were just focused. You know, it's a business trip going down there.
I took it, I'd say, more personal than any other game throughout the season, because I felt that loss in 2013 was mostly on my shoulders, missing those 2 extra points. And so personally, I watched a little extra film, ran a little after practice to kind of not let that happen again.
So going down there, we had confidence going down there. We knew traveling was good for this team. We traveled well. We were confident. And we did just the same thing we did in 2011. I took a chapter out of Coach Potter's book, and I said, guys, we're not going to stay in a hotel. We're gonna get on the bus. We're gonna have a 5 a.m. meeting here at the field house. We get up early every day. It's what we do. We always beat the sun up. The sun never rises while we're in bed. And we got up, had a team meeting. We got on the bus. We drove down to TRC. We had breakfast. You know, we had our team meetings, and we showed up to Field of Dreams. And we came out and we played well. I told Gabe on Sunday, I texted him on Sunday before the Mayfield game, and I told him the state of New Mexico is finally going to get to meet Gabe Ortega. You're going to run the ball. It's time for us to win big games. It's time for us to go win a championship, and I'm going to give it to you, and we need you to do it. And he did just that. You know, we put the ball in his hands, and he ran an option for a big touchdown. You know, and he gets loose, he's gone.
Having Coach Ridenour call my number, he would call play, and I'd shake him off and tell him that I wanted the ball, because I wanted to prove a point that kind of the message that we were trying to send from the beginning of the game, just to run over them, and I just really wanted to take it upon myself to just punish Mayfield.
And we had the best week of practice, I think, of the entire year that week. I think we might have over-prepared a little bit. It's kind of funny to say, but when we went down there, we were expecting them to be some kind of great team, and it was going to be a huge game for us. And we just did what we normally did. And it kind of took us by surprise, I think. So when we came out that second half, we came out a little flat, thinking they were going to be like another team, which they weren't. So they came out strong and they hit us in the mouth in that second half. And that woke us up, but we had good leadership, like I said, and we were able to kind of settle ourselves down and do what we normally do.
We get down there one time, going north into the end zone, and we lined Marcus up. And he's been giving me the sign the whole game of fade me up, called 60 fade once again. And the corner, the kid we thought we could take a little bit of advantage of, came up and pressed him, which is perfect for that situation, you know, and he kept sneaking up on Marcus, and my eyes just got big, and Gabe threw the ball, and I thought he overthrew him once again, you know, and Marcus makes this unbelievable diving catch in the corner of the end zone for a big touchdown.
We've got one of our smaller defensive ends that's playing at that point when they start running that old Cole Spathelf, and he's really not big enough to get that job done. And Cole had a remarkable game that day, and he did get it done. He attacked that big tackle over guy and basically stalemated him by playing technique, what we refer to as playing technique. Do your job.
You know, another play that gave us huge momentum was the block punt that Rope Henry had. You know, blocked it. It's huge. We want to change the game from a special team standpoint. And for him to block that punt, Andrew Lermoso picks it up and, you know, takes it down inside the 5. It was a huge play for us. Another momentum turn for us. And those kind of plays are really what set us apart in that game.
It was huge. I mean, a lot of mixed feelings because, you know, it's your last high school game for us seniors. So we wanted to definitely practice perfect. I mean, that was our whole goal, was to be perfect throughout the whole season. And it was just bittersweet knowing that it was our last Monday practice and our last Tuesday practice. And then, you know, we're going to run this amount of sprints. And this is our last time running this amount of sprints. And so we tried to do a little extra because it was state championship week. And we wanted to make sure that we're focused. And it was just a crazy week. I mean, we went to team dinner and team breakfast just so we can bond together one last time, but we didn't prepare any different than any other week.
Finally, when we got to game time, we just thought we just had to leave it all on the field, and that's kind of what we did.
We're like an unrelentless juggernaut. We just we can't be stopped. I felt like we had a really good defense all year.
It was a big day for the Storm. It was a bigger day for senior running back Landry Hayes.
It was like we shifted over, and I'm playing like the tackle goes over, tackle over. And I remember they shifted, and I had no idea what to do. I remember I just blocked my guy, and I remember Landry made cut off of me and just scored. And I just remember that because I was so worried about that play just messing up. And I'm glad Landry made the right play and scored.
I just thought it was crazy just how he would call it and then actually come through with it. I mean, it's such a big game, and we were losing at that point. And I mean, it just shows what kind of player Landry Hayes was, that he was just calm in any situation. When I found out that Sean was hurt, I mean, I was devastated. He's done a fantastic job all season stepping in for Landry when he did get hurt.
And when Landry came back, he's just right back where he started.
Knowing that, you know, one of my best friends was in the backfield with me was just a huge comfort blanket for me.
Last time we didn't really get to run the ball that much because we couldn't move them. The second time we dominated the running game.
Line killed it all the way from Henry to Santos to Anthony Franklin to Nate Garcia. Nate Garcia was isolated with the center all night, and he played him well. And plus our right tackle, David Alfano, he played also very well.
They were in their I back with Baker and Schweitzer back there, and Baker came and was leading on me, and Noah had the ball behind him, and I just hit Baker right in the legs and just took him out, and then Jordan Garcia was right behind me and tackled Noah for a loss, and it was kind of like a big play, and at that point I was like, we're winning this game.
Caught a couple of balls on 3rd and 40, it seems like. It might not have been 40, but it seemed like it was 3rd and 40 and 4th and 28 or something like that, where they made some fantastic catches, and we're in the right place on several times, and they made plays. They should make plays. They're good enough to be in the state championship game. They're a pretty good football team.
The week during Mayfield, I got hurt pretty early, like the first or second drive, my hand was killing me the whole game. So they took me out at halftime, and then I ended up being hurt.
He got doctor's clearance. We got him a nice hard piece of plastic to put inside of his glove to protect him a little bit. And he played in the state championship game and played unbelievable.
Tremendous football player. I mean, Ryan Anderson's, like Landry, one of the best football players I've been around.
Wind is definitely a factor. We made El Dorado punt into it 3 times, and we got scores out of all that. You know, so huge game changer for us. And as the half is wearing down, we're getting close. We get the ball back with minimal time left on the clock, and we're driving into the wind. And we get close, and that time's running down, and figure out, are we going to go for it? Are we going to throw a fade into the end zone to Marcus? What do we want to do? And talking to Coach Gars about the potential for kicking an extra field goal from there, into the wind.
You know, that reassurance that David gave me, hey, let's do it, Coach. You know, just, hey, you know, that's what it's all about.
So without hesitation, I called David's number, went in there, and he nailed it. There was no doubt. There was plenty of leg on it. That's how special he was. Later on in the game, ended up kicking another field goal for us, ended up having 2 in the game, and really it was a deciding factor for us, because if we didn't have those 2 field goals, you know, the game got down to 10 points at times in the second half. Without those 2 field goals, that's a 4-point game.
Ridiculous how good this team is. Here's Ortega, a little shovel pass. That's in the middle of the field. That's Hayes. He's now Main Street at the 10, breaks to his left in the left flat. He's at the 5, still on his feet, all the way down to the El Dorado. And here's Dennis loading it up right side for Martinez. Up for grabs. It's tipped and incomplete.
And we're coming down to the 2-minute mark, and we scored one last time. And I just looked at the clock, and I was trying to do the math that they had to drive this. Had to have this many drives with this many points.
I was just proud of them for getting to that point where we could go out there and know that the game was going to be over if we did our job. There wasn't anything to tell them. They know the scenario. They understand the situation, and extremely competitive group. What a fun group to coach.
I mean, I wasn't really thinking about just a lot. That was my last 2 plays. I was thinking more of who I wanted to hug first, and the feeling that just overcame me was just pure joy and excitement.
You think you're going to be just so excited. You're going to be running around like a little kid on Christmas. But it's just this culmination of everything you wanted for these kids.
I knew that my dad was on the opposing sideline holding the chain, so I knew that right when I took that last knee and handed the ref the ball that I just wanted to embrace my dad, and so I sprinted over there and he gave me a hug, and we hugged for a long time.
I just enjoyed every single moment of it. It was crazy seeing 11,000 people out there. It was insane.
It was like you were on cloud 9 winning a state championship. It was, especially for football. I have one in track, and it didn't feel the same. You know, football is just like, we did it all together, you know, and it was the best accomplishment so far of my high school career.
It's something we've dreamed about since playing Yathel together in like 7th grade, and something we've talked about, worked for since freshman year in high school, and just everything's paid off.
It's probably one of the best things that's ever happened. I mean, I know people who won state 30 years ago and still talk about it, and I know I'm going to be the same way, talking it to my kids and family for the rest of my life.
I know most of the seniors like Gabe, Landry, Dimitri, Marcus, we all talked about it. And we knew the 2011 team, we saw what they did to do it, and so it was just a dream come true to finally get it.
And just to see this group that's so special, you know, these guys were freshmen when I took over as a head coach, you know, and for people to doubt us and for us to go and do what we did. It was overwhelming, it was emotional, I was really happy, but more so than anything, it was just blessed. I was thanking God for letting this happen for these kids.
let's go tell them that. No, which way are we going? Perfect. Exactly what we didn't want. That's good. I'm just asking if you're scared of them guys. You're great. You ready to roll? Quick 6, boys. Quick 7, because who wanted to be in it? Isaac. Isaac wanted to be in it. We're the quick 7 boys now. Hey, I love it. I love it. Okay?
Dig them out. Run your feet and don't let your feet say, you got me? He made it. They just had him.
Good job, good job. Got a little hardware.
Good job, guys.
Hold up, Marcus.